Good afternoon. My name is Elena Cavasso, and I did my project on autonomous vehicles. I was able to do this by using HTML codes and CSS codes and put them on the web. So if you see here, I had my cPanel main page. If I clicked onto my file manager, I would go into this, and here's where all my pictures and my HTML pages are. For example, one of my pages on my websites is HTML codes, and I was able to use this as well as CSS to make the web page. Going back to the web, autonomous vehicles are all about how they have an effect on new technologies and people and how they're newly made, which there's not a lot of information about them, but people are definitely interested in it. I will discuss the purposes, the effects and impacts, the technical aspects, relationship to data, and give you my references for the topic. Going into my purpose page, here's my banner. I was able to make my banner, my logo, and my animation through a text editor, and it's called Pixlr. I was able to use of layers, texture, transparent backgrounds, etc., and I was able to put these into a zip folder. And then I was able to put them into JPEGs, which then brought into my file manager. As you can see, JPG stands for JPEG. So more into my purpose page, here it says I had to indicate the name of the innovation and provide a clear description of its intended purpose. So over here I put the flow of traffic and parking lots. The purpose of these vehicles are to make the roads clear, I would say, and help with the flow of traffic. So if everyone has these cars, then they're able to move and the speed limit will be the same throughout. When everyone's driving the same speed limit, there will be no accidents. People will be able to just drive and have smooth sailing. So worrying about going during rush hour isn't an issue. Also, if your car is able to move itself, then there's no parking lots because it could just go home and then come back and pick you up. So because of this, I put in a picture of an empty parking lot because they won't be needed if autonomous vehicles take over the road. Down on my next section, I have effects and impacts. And here I had to explain a benefit or effect of the innovation. So I chose to go with a benefit because I like to be positive about things. And these vehicles will, like I said, help the flow of traffic and improve. So by doing this, there won't be any accidents. And when you have to plan trips, you can leave whenever you want. You can go on your way when it's most convenient for you and not have to worry about travel. The next question was to explain the impact that it has on society. So I said that over here in my graph shown, if you zoom on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you think autonomous vehicles have an effect on society? People answered these based on my Google Forms. I was able to make this in Google Forms and then give it to the class for access to take. So I said they could have many effects on society. This explains like the interests in autonomous vehicles and what people think about them. So if your free time is more abundant, then you are able to do more things than just worry about driving. So if you want to just get in the car and hang out, you can do so. Over here is a graph of the impact on society. I got this from Google, and I was able to put this in using my HTML codes. The next question was to indicate one field other than computer science which this innovation has impacted or has the potential to impact, and to describe the impact. So another field that this could impact is real estate. And if you think about having a self-driving car, since it doesn't have to park anywhere, a lot of space for parking lots is not needed anymore. So this can then be used for real estate, selling homes, or building new things. So here's just a video that I put in that has to do with the future of driverless cars, and it stated the impacts. But right here, I'm going to play my video called Autonomous Vehicles, and this is me explaining the impacts of the vehicles and how they benefit our society. I was able to make this video through YouTube Editor, and I was able to add transitions and text. And then I uploaded it to YouTube and was able to put it into my HTML codes.
theories on autonomous vehicles? So these cars potentially it's the biggest technology and topic of discussion right now. Unfortunately, there's not many out there yet because not enough people have the money to buy them. But if everyone was on board with them, had the money, all roads could be a lot safer. Drunk driving could be eliminated. We could potentially have more car insurance and speed limits could be faster.
So that was my video on autonomous vehicles, and I was able to do this by recording it through my phone. Here is a real estate image because I just showed it that it affects parking lots and autonomous vehicles. So going into my next section are technical aspects, and I was asked to describe how a user interacts with the innovation. So the way you would use an autonomous vehicle is you would basically be constantly using it just as you would a normal car that you would drive yourself. I was doing some research and I came across the fact that there would be some sort of application on your phone that connected with your car, and this could be where you could tell the car where you'd want to go, when you would want to leave, just basically like a robot. You could just text it and be like, I want to go here, and it would take you there. The next question was to describe in detail how the innovations technology incorporates at least one of the big ideas of abstraction, algorithms, programming, and or the internet to accomplish its purpose. So I basically said that it would make life easier for us. This would be able to connect to our phone and stay up to date with everything going on. So I use the example of having a flight, and if you're unsure of which gate to go to, if you were in your car while driving to the airport, you could technically get an email from the airport and your phone could read it off to you. Over here to the right, I did a picture of a man sitting in a car with his laptop because he doesn't have to drive, so he's just hanging out in the back doing his laptop. So that was just an example of getting an email and the car reading it to you. The next section was data, and over here I was to describe how the innovation consumes data as input, produces data as output, and or transforms data. So I said that these vehicles can really be awesome. If they're on the road and figure out the way the roads work, they'll be the most efficient. So if your car is able to tell the difference between a bird flying past your windshield and a pedestrian crossing the street, it will then be able to adjust to the brakes and see, okay, I have to lightly brake when a bird flies, but full on brake if there's a pedestrian. So it would be able to do this by observing behavior over and over again. The second question is to describe at least one data storage concern, data privacy concern, or data security concern related to the innovation. And I chose to pick a concern that it has with privacy. So if you are constantly having your location on to connect with your car to go somewhere and tell your car where to go, this can really be intrusive into your privacy, because if location services are always on, they always have the potential to be hacked into, which then could take over the car and control where it goes, which is very scary. Another concern with this is that there could be a potential to have intruders who could take advantage of what's supposed to be private information. So there's always a risk with good things that come. My next section was my references, and I was able to do this through HTML code and CSS as well. I made a table using the table tags, and I chose for a site my reference number 2, which was the impact of self-driving cars on transportation. So if you visit this site, you click right here, and it'll bring you to it. So I chose this just because it basically was separated into paragraphs that were easy to read and very simple with explaining. So I chose to use this in my impacts page. It basically just had how these are good with traffic and on-time delivery, and self-driving cars will be a hit for the industry if everyone gets one. So they're really good for the road and highly adaptable. So that was the end of my website, and I look forward to sharing this with you. For more information on autonomous vehicles, you can visit my website here at http://ecapaso.vps.cs.uri.edu. Thank you.